Good evening and welcome to another edition of Rebelwatch. I'm your host Cameron Hassan. Alongside me is NewsWatch sports anchor Jayson Kern and sports reporter Graeme Farrell. We're so happy to be back after a short break we had, but a lot has gone on since then. Both the men's basketball team season came to an end, but some exciting news for the women, which we're going to start off talking about tonight. They ended up making the NCAA tournament. They ended up losing in the SEC tournament, but there were a lot of positive signs. What are you expecting from the NCAA tournament? How are they going to perform?
I would say that going into this tournament, last year, they actually surprised some people, but this year they have a lot more expectations coming in, especially after the year that they had 12 conference wins, most in a season ever at Ole Miss. Coach Yo with her third straight 20-plus win season. Marquisha Davis and Madison Scott, both first team all SEC. Just a great season for the Rebs. And the thing is, I believe that with this, with their Marquette matchup, they're going to need to just keep on doing what they've done all year, and that's been defense. Defense, they've been really good. I believe with expectations that they should reach the Sweet 16, overachieve would be Final Four. Obviously, underachieve would be first-round loss because they've had such a great year. No need for it to stop now. They've played great basketball, and I believe they can, it's March. Anything can happen. Let's have the Rebs go on a run.
Yeah, you talk about the defense, and looking at the matchup coming up, this is an ideal matchup for this women's team because in their loss against UConn in the Big East tournament, they only put up 29 points. And just a really ugly loss, and that's just been lingering with this team. So when you look at their offensive power, there's not much there. Both these teams are 23-8. They both have had very successful seasons. This is a 7 versus a 10 matchup. I just think it's going to come down to those late buckets, and Madison Scott is just one of the best when it comes down to those last-minute buckets. So, again, this is going to be so much fun, but before the season started, everyone knew that South Carolina and LSU were going to top the SEC. So for us to be the 3 seed in that tournament, that's such a win. And we've sat on the show before and we've said, oh, that's such a bad loss, and oh, that's a great rebound, and oh, it's just been such a roller coaster. But just look at where this team is now, and we talked about how they were going to be an 8 seed the entire year. Now they're sitting at a 7 seed, went a little bit above our expectation, but again, this is such a good spot. Now going to South Bend against Marquette, if you could beat Marquette and then presumably Notre Dame will win their matchup, so it'll be us versus Notre Dame, and you can go and beat the ACC champion. This just reminded me a little bit of last year when we had a big win and then we beat Stanford on their home court. So I'm getting flashbacks, and like we said in the past, Coach Yo just gets one step better every year, and that step last year was Sweet 16, so I just cannot wait to see what she does this year.
You talk about flashbacks, and you talk about also LSU finishing high in the polls, everyone knew that was going to happen. Well, with that LSU game losing in the SEC tournament, it was difficult, but it felt like a tournament game. It felt like a post-conference game. And it was really a big thing. And I think with that experience and the flashbacks of beating Stanford last year, this team has the experience, make a deep run. They have it all to make it come together.
And you just this team is so good when they start off hot. If you watch that first game versus Florida, they were losing. It felt like they were down 10 the entire game. And then the last 7 minutes was let's figure it out. And they did. And that's when this team went to Florida in Gainesville, that was the same thing. They came back, made a late comeback, won in overtime, and they did this exact same thing. And they ended up winning by 10 in regulation. It just shows how when this team clicks, they click. And, yeah, again, LSU was not a blowout. It was a close game the entire game. And LSU ended up losing to South Carolina in the championship to nobody's surprise. South Carolina hasn't lost yet. When I was watching the selection show on that Sunday and I saw we were in South Carolina's group, I was like, we just can't escape these guys.
Yeah.
You can't escape them. But if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
Yeah. I would say, going off how you said, how South Carolina, obviously that's a hump that the team hasn't been able to get over, especially LSU. It seems like, they are able to beat any opponent they face except those two. They haven't gotten the big win over them yet, but maybe this tournament is the opportunity.
Yeah, it is. Many people haven't gotten that one.
March. You never know in March.
That's true. That's true.
Never know in March.
I feel like if Ole Miss were to, beat Notre Dame and then maybe possibly get that South Carolina matchup, I feel like if they were to win that, then I feel like there's just obviously no stopping them.
Yeah, and this is a hot take because there's so many other good teams out
there. Oh, such
a
hot take, but what I just gave.
No, but that's what I'm saying. The winner of that group, there's just when you look at the teams in that group, there are so many good, like the ACC champion, the SEC champion.
Right.
There's a lot of really good talent, and that doesn't. I'm not taking away from anyone else, but it's just like looking at the bigger picture. It's hard to say that anyone out of that group won't win it all.
I agree with that, but I think you can't. You gotta look at Caitlin Clark, greatest women's college basketball player ever. Can't sleep on her. Made it to the national championship last year. You know, gotta see what she can do.
I don't even think they're gonna make the championship. I think UConn.
Really?
I think Paige Buchers and UConn.
Yeah, highest seed that they've been.
You can't. And I know USC is number one in that section, but it's UConn. You can't bet against.
Who's
Paige.
your Final Four?
So I got Iowa losing to UConn, and I got Stanford versus South Carolina. Stanford's going to make it because they have so much experience. Their coach is the winningest head coach in all of women's basketball history. They're going to find a way, especially after losing to us on their home court last year. You already know they have a massive chip, and it's just it's so hard to say you're going to pick all 4 1 seeds, but Caitlin Clark, they're going to make it. She's unbelievable, but the Big Ten hasn't been like an insanely good conference this year. The Big East has UConn. UConn has always been a household name in women's basketball. And number one, I'm not saying it's going to be well. I think that UConn-Iowa game is going to be a fantastic game, and I cannot wait to see Buchers and Caitlin Clark battle it out. It's going to be a fantastic game, but I just think that South Carolina is going to sweep the table, and it's dog sailing. And not even to take away from Ole Miss, but she's a whole brand new starting five this year, and she's undefeated. It's incredible. It really is incredible to say. And I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong.
Well, I got South Carolina, Iowa, Stanford, but a team that I think that has been, played really good basketball all year and they did very, very well in the ACC, NC State. They're going to be in my Final Four.
I like that. What about you?
I'm going Iowa, South Carolina, UConn, and Texas.
Texas.
Yes.
Whoa.
Little bit of a wild one.
Whoa. All right, we're on the same page here. At least we're different.
No, yeah. No, but I think Caitlin Clark is going to pull it off. I mean, I just don't see her going out her senior year. I feel like she's going to somehow rally the troops, I know she is the team, but maybe the rest of the team will love to show up.
And in that Iowa group, I cannot wait for LSU to win, and then Louisville to win, and then have Van Lith face their old school. Man, would that be great if the Cardinals could beat LSU in that? Oh man, that would just be. Yeah. Again, it's March. You never know, so I just can't wait for it to get started.
And I think LSU is going to be the big upset. I think they're going to go out early this year, you guys.
Would love it.
Okay.
Would love it.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how everything plays out, but we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the men's basketball team.
It's that time of the year again, fellas. When the mornings are hot, the afternoons are hotter, and football is on its way back. Now, games is won by the battles fought in August. Everyone that's not revered as an Ole Miss legend has been in your shoes before, trying to survive that Mississippi heat, competing for a spot, and knowing the sacrifice that it takes to make it in this league. You go into this money collection of men from 100 different places, and if you work, you emerge from it as one team with one goal and one heartbeat. The SEC awaits you. And if they don't know who you are now, they will soon.
Where are we gonna go?
Someplace warm. A place where the beer flows like wine. Where beautiful women instinctively flock like the salmon of Capistrano. I'm talking about a little place called
Oxford, Mississippi.
To see it is to believe it. You hear about it, but you just have to see the party.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Grove.
The sound and fury are here.
Let's go.
Getting out of toe down.
Pageantry, the pride, the pomp is unmatched and unrivaled.
This stadium has come unhinged.
This is what college football is all about.
Oh,
coach is having more fun than I'm kidding.
This is the place to be in college football right now.
Welcome back to Rebel Watch. We're now going to be talking about the men's basketball team. They recently had the end of their season, but there is some future hopes for them. Coach Beard is going to stick around for much longer. But how did you feel about the end of the season? Two kind of bad losses to A&M, kind of shocking, but
Yeah, and it's so crazy how you start out the 13-0.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, the Chris Beard era is
Yes.
here. And it is. But, like, it's like, oh, we are starting
it is,
early.
but it's a work in progress
We're
era.
starting early. And SEC play comes, and poof, it's just end the year 7-10 is
Yeah.
not the best. And there were so many up 15 against Bama, lost by 15. Up 9 at the half versus Auburn, lost by 14. There was a lot of positive signs. And there's a lot of people also saying how, well, that's so soft how Ole Miss and Chris Beard declined the NIT bid. I think I'm more, because that's Chris Beard saying, this is not us. We're not an NIT team. This is an NIT team. We're better than this. We're going to go. We're going to recruit early. We're going to figure out next season. We're ready. We're looking at next season. And I personally love it because when you look at the teams that also declined a bid, Memphis, Oklahoma, all these St. John's, all these really big programs. And these are all programs that just, they stand on business. And it's like, damn, this is
Yeah.
not, we should be in March Madness, and we totally blew the season away. And now we're going to sit
like-
here and play in the NIT. No, we're next year. And for guys like Morrell, Sharp, Flanagan, yeah, it stinks that they're all gonna. It's more than likely they're not coming back. But again, it's the same thing with, like, when you look at other teams here. It's just next man up and recruiting, and we have John Bull coming in next year. We have a bunch of other new players. So for guys that have stuck around here for so long and just seen no success, I feel like it's just. And I'm not taking away anything from those guys. Morrell's been fantastic. He's been just an icon with Ole Miss basketball. But it's just when you have a new coach, things are gonna change. And yeah, this was, again, I've never seen Ole Miss fans as excited for basketball in my 4 years here, and in 1 year he's done it, and he sold out games. So you can see that there's clearly been a Beard effect so far. So I just think I'm a fan of the declining of the NIT.
Yeah, no, I agree with the NIT. Yeah, don't accept mediocrity. There's no no need because we're trying to build a culture here.
Right. And like last year's team, I feel like would have jumped at that
Oh,
opportunity.
easily, yeah,
Oh
to
my
play
God.
more basketball.
And I would have loved that. Like, yes, let's go NIT,
Yeah.
yes.
But losing 7 of the last 9 games does hurt. Also, like there were rumors, like even I was kind of listening to them of possibly Beard leaving, but with this extension, it shows that he's committed
To
to
2032 is crazy.
He's committed to Oxford. He's committed to this school, and it seems like people are kind of, I don't know why they underestimate like Ole Miss when it comes to a coaching position. And it's not just like it's like with Lane Kiffin and Chris Beard, like they automatically
They
think
think
that
that
they're gonna
we're
leave.
like a bad
Yeah,
program
like we
or
can't
not
put
much
up,
to offer.
like we don't have the money. We have the Grove Collective. We are doing things.
We have one of the best NIL.
Yeah,
like
people don't understand like how much we are actually doing here and how much we've improved when it comes to all these things, especially in the new age of college athletics. We're ahead of we got the first step throughout the door right now, and I think it was just tough. It's gonna be tough to see Matt Morrell because I think he's one of my favorite players to be at Ole Miss. Just great guy, but it's gonna be this new first recruiting class with Coach Beard. And it's going to be amazing, I believe. And he's going to have the guys that he wants, not the rosters that he had to take on.
Right.
And so I think it's only going to be special things from here. And obviously, fans they're ready to go. And the basketball is going to get better. You know, it can't get, from right now, only up from here. NCAA tournament, that's what we got to expect next year.
Yeah, you say only up from here, and everyone talked about how this is Chris Beard's worst team. This is Chris Beard's worst team. I loved watching this team. If this is Chris Beard's worst team, then we're in for some good basketball coming up. So that was the word. It's just crazy how everyone said that.
I know, had stayed undefeated for a long time. You know, had a rough end of the season, but still, like,
Yeah,
shows what the possibilities are.
if we can get some big guys that can actually rebound and get in there and like you love Sharp, you love Cisse. Their height's fantastic, but like other than the hype, it's just like they weren't really the most. Like you have a 7'5" guy averaging like 4 points a game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it was tough, but this team had the talent, and they beat teams that are in the tournament right now. And like NC State, they went on to win the ACC tournament, and that's incredible. And so it was obviously it sucks to have that year end like this, but it's just sometimes it doesn't go the way it goes. Like, and that will actually, I think it's going to light a fire in their teams. Next year.
Mm-hmm. Can't wait.
Yeah, but looking to the teams that did make it to the NCAA tournament, who are y'all expecting to make the Final Four?
Yeah, so again, Kentucky's defense isn't good, but their offense, and when it comes to big games, on the road at Auburn, won. On the road at Tennessee, they won. When it comes to the games that matter, that's when they're going to shine. And what scares me are the easy games. Those are the games that Kentucky loses. So if they can make it past the round of 32 and then make it into the Sweet 16, then that's when I'm gonna start feeling really confident in this Kentucky team because they're full of talent. So I have Kentucky, and then I have on the other side I have Iowa State. I just think Lipsy and Momcilovic, I think is how you pronounce his name. They are just fantastic, and I think that's one of the most complete teams in all of college basketball. And then I have Iowa State beating Baylor, and I just think it's gonna be Creighton has had that same roster for like 4 years. And they've been so close, and they just haven't gotten over that hump.
I have Creighton in my
I've got Creighton losing to Kentucky, Iowa State beating Baylor, and I have Iowa State beating Kentucky in the championship because the Cyclones are the most complete team, in my opinion.
I guess we're all Creighton Blue Jays fans because
come on.
But I got Baylor, but I got Kentucky as well. Auburn beats Baylor, Creighton beats Kentucky. Auburn over Creighton in the national championship. I believe Creighton, one of their things is that they play a different style of basketball. They play like really slow basketball. And I feel like with today's game, it's all about getting up shots, threes. It's like getting as much shots as you can, get offensive rebounds, which leads to points. Creighton doesn't allow that. They play super slow at their own pace, and it allows their offense to do their thing. Auburn, I think they're just, welcome to the jungle with Auburn basketball. It's difficult when you got to play them, especially with Johnny Broome. He's amazing. They got guys. Bruce Pearl knows how to coach in March. They have the experience. And just going back to that time when they made the Final Four and they had that bad luck, I think it switches for them now. So got the Tigers going all the way.
Yeah, that whole section is just stacked. Illinois, the Big Ten champion, SEC champion Auburn, Big East champion UConn. You have the Big 12 champion Iowa State. Excuse me. We have all. It's just crazy how when you're looking at how they made the bracket and they put all those teams in one. That's why it's hard to say that a team from that group is not going to win it because it's like that's just the battle of all the greats.
So many good teams. So many good teams.
Yeah.
Have you said who you think?
No, I haven't.
Come on, my bad. I don't mean to take your.
Just waiting for y'all to ask me. No, I'm just kidding.
Come on. Well, here we are.
Okay, I got Creighton, I got Baylor, and I got UConn. But my winner is Houston. I feel like
Houston.
Who would have predicted that?
This is their year. A lot of people thought it was going to be last year, but then all the injuries and whatnot. But I think this is their time.
Yeah, they played really good against Iowa State in that Big 12 champion. They lost like 28, I think.
Okay. Well, we'll just have to.
No, it's good.
They got to redeem themselves.
We're all on the same page, but at the same time we're different, and that's fantastic.
We all got Creighton, so that's.
And Baylor.
You didn't pick Baylor.
I got Baylor.
He's got Baylor.
Oh, we got Baylor.
Oh, you did? Okay. Because then we all have Baylor and Creighton. Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see who ends up winning. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're talking about the Ole Miss baseball team.
Ole Miss 18th NCAA tournament appearance.
This is fun, folks, as Baker's peeling it. Little heat check. Snow Collins for three.
Said, I love Madison Scott.
Ole Miss Rebels are having a lot of fun, and you can see why.
My passion is journalism. Here at the University of Mississippi, we produce a nightly half-hour newscast, broadcasting regionally on cable and globally on the World Wide Web. It's the kind of experience that is preparing me to walk into any news station in the country with the skills and abilities I need to succeed. So it's not just preparing me for the real world, it is the real world.
Do you love sports? Then you should know about STEM. Because maximizing nutrition, analyzing peak muscle performance, calculating the perfect shot, and more are all made possible by science, technology, engineering, and math. In fact, there are more careers than ever in sports science. So if you have a passion for sports, then think about getting involved in STEM and improve everyone's game on and off the field. Get inspired at shecanstem.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Welcome back to Rebelwatch. Well, we're now going to move things over to the baseball team, who have been doing so much better since the start of their season. They're really on a roll now. I feel like they're finally finding their groove. What did y'all think about the South Carolina series and their recent win against Southern Miss?
South Carolina series, just a great way to start conference play. Just got to give a shout out, obviously, the bullpen. The bullpen was incredible, especially in the two games that we won. 2 of 22 that they left South Carolina with runners on base, which is an incredible job. And, Andrew Fisher, what a beast. 3 home runs. He's just been raking. And Ethan Leje, he's been doing a great job. Just one of my main things that obviously still kind of worried me was the starting pitching. But, if we have the bullpen like this, we don't really need to – we just need to ask our guys to go 5-6, don't worry about the rest. Just get us there and allow our bullpen to take over. And this is just a great way to start the conference play.
Yeah, and to piggyback off the starting pitching, Gunnar Dennis, he's been fine Friday. Grace Saunier, he's been good Sunday. Doyle, the Coastal Carolina transfer, had 10 Ks through 5 innings on Saturday. So I think he's good in the Saturday spot, but yeah, the bullpen has been great. Dare I say the Rebs are hot. This is such a good spot to be because, number one, they won the series versus South Carolina. They lost the Sunday game. Everyone's like, oh, they lost Sunday. Is that, worry? No. They went in the midleague, beat a team that should be ranked in Southern Miss, 8-3. They handled business. Just the bats. It's just you looked at the High Point series Friday. You looked at the Hawaii series. You looked at that Arkansas State midweek game, and it's like this offense is just atrocious. And then finally, after the Friday game versus High Point, Jackson Ross explodes. Andrew Fisher, 3 home runs in that Saturday game versus South Carolina. That was so much fun, and that's what we've been looking for. And like you said, South Carolina with 2 for 22 with runners in scoring position. That's usually us. That's usually us That's usually us not being able to hit anyone, and we've had no problem doing that this year. And it just makes me feel so comfortable in this team. Yeah, they're all so brand new, but you wouldn't think if you were watching the team play recently. We have a big test this weekend.
Yes.
Number 7 on the road. They're 19-3. They just lost a series in Tuscaloosa versus Alabama. They won the first game but lost the next 2. So you look at it, there's so many different rankings in college baseball, and the main one is D1. We're not ranked there yet, but the other ones have us ranked, so we're definitely getting some national people are noticing us, and that's a good thing. But also, as an Ole Miss fan, whenever we're ranked in basketball and baseball, we collapse. I kind of want to stay away from the rankings.
Yeah, now that people are paying attention to us again, it's like, oh.
It's like oh, Tennessee, we have an unranked Ole Miss coming in. Oh, cool. If there was a number next to our name, it's like, guys, ranked opponent coming in this week.
They would take it more seriously and whatnot, but I don't know. I feel like every time, the next game, the South Carolina series, I was like, oh, this is the real test. And then the Southern, and I'm like, no, but this one's the real test. But this one is the
This
test.
is the test.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, definitely, because especially that Tennessee's undefeated at home this year. It's going to be insane. But with, like you talked about, these midweek games with Southern Miss, those are the type of games that decide whether or not if you're going to be hosting a regional and hosting a super regional. Those are the games that you need to win so you can have like home field advantage in the playoffs and everything. Just like the team's doing great. I think the Rebs are getting hot. And the thing about Tennessee, you know, just their fans are going to be loud.
Annoying.
Yeah, they're going to be annoying. Just a
Might
lot.
be a little bit
There's going to be
Yeah.
a lot of theatrics, a lot of antics. We got to make sure, Mike Bianco's got to make sure to like, hey guys, like stay within yourself. Like don't buy into whatever they're doing.
They
If
talk.
If
They
they're
love
doing
to
stuff
talk.
in the dugout, make sure to, you know, don't even like pay attention to them. Just allow your game to do the talking, because that's not like the only thing to make these Tennessee like fans and this team shut up. They like to be flamboyant and do all these things, but no, when it comes down to it, when the rubber meets the road, we're going to see if this team is able to live up to the hype. And I think the Rebs will take this series. I believe that we'll get 2 games.
Yeah, 2 years ago, you already know, they came to our house. The year we won a championship, they came to our house and swept us. And not even that they sweep us, they made us look awful. They blew us out in the first 2 games. Yeah, they barely won the 3rd game, but the first 2 games were just ugly. And that was a really good Tennessee team. And if they didn't lose to Notre Dame in the Supers, they would have probably won it all. So thank you for Notre Dame for beating them. But like we said before, this is such a big test. But again, you can't get involved in their antics, because that's what Tennessee. Vitale loves. He just loves. He loves being the center of attention. And again, just stay in your lane, focus, play the game you love. And again, I just can't wait to watch this series, because we sit here and we're like, oh, are we actually that good?
I know.
And it's like, it makes you so anxious. Like, I want to know like, how good we actually
Right.
are.
I will say, it feels so nice after last season to watch a baseball game and like feel hopeful, you know, not feel so like, not again, you know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, will be interesting to see how the series plays out this weekend. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the softball team and their big win this past week.
The dynamic freshman is starting to make his impact. Dagger with the shot clock down to 1. That 3-ball drops for Jamin Brakefield. Fagan from the corner with a triple. Farrell for 3, and that's a big response. 3-ball, yes. Miss shooting lights out of the pavilion. Ed, give him one more. Wow. Alley-oop. Well, you can't teach that. Well, that should give Ole Miss a boost.
Creating a legacy takes time, takes dedication, spirit, and a greater vision. That vision starts here, at the University of Mississippi. What will you be remembered by? Your character, your contributions, your friendship. Your legacy will define who we are now and who we are becoming for our state, our students, and our future. Ole Miss, build your legacy.
Welcome back to Rebelwatch. Well, the softball team had a huge series win. They went into Baton Rouge, beat the number 2 team in the country, and pretty convincingly. You know, they lost that first game, but the next 2 games they were pretty dominant. What did y'all think about?
Best series win that we've ever had in the program. It's the highest ranked win we've ever, series win we've ever had. Offense was exploding. Most runs that we've ever scored against LSU. Just way to get it done. Like, these girls are hot right now. You know, let's keep it going, and let's keep it going, and you know, don't let the refs get hot.
And it's such a good thing, because LSU was 24-0 going into this game, and yeah, it was in Baton Rouge. They won 3-2. in the first game. The second game, that's a great upset. That third game shows who the better team is. You don't just go into their house and you can win a game and you can steal a game, but to win the series just shows who the better team is. Because when you go to that third game, you're supposed to. It's crazy to see because that Saturday game, Joey Lassiter was so just showing the whole country why she should be one of the top names in the SEC. 3 for 4, 2 doubles, and a massive 2 RBIs in the top of the 7th to just basically put the nail in the coffin of just a great win. Yeah, everyone's like upset, like that's a great upset. Ole Miss, they blew out LSU in Game 3. It wasn't even close. It was 10-2, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was just it makes you feel so good about how this team, everything they're facing this year with not even having a stadium and just everything that's been going around on this program, just to get a series win like that, boost the confidence. Come on. Don't let the reps get hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it should be exciting to see this next weekend. They play Georgia, another top 10 team. Hopefully a bunch of fans will show up since there's no baseball in town this weekend, but should be exciting. Well, that's all we have for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to tune in next week to Rebel Watch and follow us at Rebel_Watch on X. Thank you and good night.